Hi, everybody. I'm Candid Frank. He's Aaron William Freeland, and this is Leaf Talk, where we talk about everything Maple Leaf. And that includes a lot of different things that aren't Maple Leaf as you might think the Toronto Maple Leafs. Anyway, so Aaron, I'm going to start this conversation with I have, I don't know, what's it called? The
AI assistant.
co-pilot.
Ah,
Co-pilot. All right. Co-pilot. Microsoft. So I'm sitting there going, okay, I decide, I'm going to figure out, okay, let's see, where'd the close this? It's still misbehaving. So I'm looking for the leaf lines just to where the lines are at. And earlier I saw that Marner was moved to the second line from the first line. Anyway, so I called Microsoft, the what do you call it, Bing or whatever, and I saw the mic there, like you do on Google, and I said, "Can I see the Maple Leaf lines, please?" "Oh, I can't do that." And then she starts having a conversation. So now I'm here with Aaron. Now I'm speaking to the rest of you. So I'm on here with Aaron, trying to talk to Aaron, and she's interrupting my conversation with Aaron. But here's the reason why I'm mentioning this. Aaron can't hear her. So as far as he's concerned, this is a voice inside my head. It's not part of the conversation, but it's not in my head. It's actually on the computer. It's coming through the speakers, and for some reason, it comes through the speakers, but it doesn't go into the microphone. That's how they've gotten rid of. I think it has something to do with the way you get fold back instead of feedback. So fold back, if you're in the radio or TV business, is when you have headphones on and you're listening to what you're saying, what the other people are saying, if they're not even in the studio, right? So you listen to that. Well, it's gotten better with computers that you can put it on and you won't get feedback because there's just a tiny, tiny, tiny sliver of silence so that you don't get the feedback. You only get fold back. Well, that woman just wouldn't leave me alone. Wouldn't leave me alone, Aaron. I'm telling you. I mean, I don't want to call a computer character a nag, but I'm on the verge. It's on the spectrum.
if it would make you feel any better, Frank, you can actually change your co-pilot settings through the Windows menu to have it be a male voice.
I don't think it's because it's female. It's not the female part that's the problem. I want to make this clear. Thank you for pointing that out because that's not what it is. It's not about the female voice. It's about the voice talking to me when I'm trying to talk to someone else, namely you. So, AI is awesome.
Sometimes.
Okay, let's leave it at that. And let's get on to the business at hand and why we're here. So I was working on one more story. I was working on a story. I've got a pretty famous reporter, writes for a national newspaper, and I wanted to have him guest on our CFL show, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
And he sends me a message back. He says, I can't right now. I have to cover the Jays. So I was very tempted to text him back. So I'll call you at the end of the week.
Ouch, sir. That is very close to the bone.
I'll call you at the end of the week. Oh, come on. It's stupid.
Oh, 100%.
I didn't do it. That's why I'm laughing so hard now, because I didn't do it. I'm laughing because I didn't do it. Okay, let's talk about those Blue Jays who really look like two different teams from one series to the next. And they could look different in Seattle than they did in Toronto. That's the hope we that have the Maple Leaf emblazoned on our chest hope. I know they're all Americans. I know there's two players on Seattle. They're more Canadian than the Blue Jays are. They have two Canadians on their team. But still, they represent the city of Toronto, and it happens to be in Canada, and that's why we root for it. At least that's why I do. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Aaron. But anyway, are you pulling for the Jays?
I am definitely pulling for the Jays.
And what would be the reason?
Well, for one thing, local team. Second, Canadian. It's one of those things. It's been 30 2 years since the last time they won the World Series, and I think it would be really nice for my godson to be able to see the Jays win a title. He wasn't born when the Jays last won. The good news is the probable pitcher for tonight, if it hasn't already been confirmed, is going to be Shane Bieber. He's
Yep.
pitching against George Kirby. It's one of those.
Oh, that's funny. You're probably too young to know this. Do you know there's I believe his name was George Kirby, a comedian named George Kirby.
Yep, I do remember him. I used to listen to him on Sunday Night Funnies on Channel FM 104.5.
There you go. George Kirby is a comedian, and then you've got Shane Bieber. So
no relation.
No relation, but it's Bieber against Kirby. So we either can laugh about it or cry about it. So let's hope that we laugh about it. Let's hope that today's game, the Jays get ahead again, but this time stay ahead. I think it's fair to say we hope that they win, and we hope they do it in an entertaining fashion. But talk to us about Scherzer and how he fits into this experience.
Well, Scherzer's 0-3 over his last 8 postseason starts since the 2019 World Season opener. And he went 1-3 with a 9.00 ERA in his final 6 starts of the 2025 season. Not stellar, let's be honest here. But he is a 3-time Cy Young Award winner. Schneider says that neck pain limited Scherzer at the end of the season, and that he's in a better spot physically than he was a month ago. Opting to use the 8-time All-Star as a starter stemmed from wanting to keep Scherzer's routine consistent. Schneider says he's always talked about him preparing all year for this sort of thing. Keeping him as a starter is one of those things that's going to keep things normal for him and help him relax when it comes to pitching. He's an 8-time All-Star. He was 5-5 with a 5.19 ERA in 17 starts. He didn't pitch between March 29th and June 25th because of right thumb inflammation, but he appears to be back in a much better spot, having had a little bit of an opportunity to get some work done over the break that he took.
So we have a pitcher who's been in the playoffs before and has never won.
Yeah.
The end of the week is getting scary, Aaron.
It genuinely is. I'm hoping Bieber can really pull one out.
The end of the week is getting scary. Look, this is an opportunity for the Toronto Blue Jays to recover this game. So, and the biggest question out there, it isn't a question. We know the Jays need to hit better. We know that their pitchers have to pitch better. So what we don't know is how much support they're going to get in the stands. That's what we don't know.
Yeah, that is going to be the tough one for sure. I know that Jays fans in general do travel pretty well. So it's a question now of who's going to be showing up for this thing. So
our Vancouver Canadian fans.
Yes, for sure.
Right? Because that's the name of the baseball team there, the Vancouver Canadians. Well, let's move on to the other series, and that is, of course, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are on the road and have done the same thing that the Blue Jays did, and that is win both games. And last night they did it in pitching style. Their pitcher pitched a complete game, and that's the first time a playoff game's had a complete game pitched since, I think, the 90s.
Yeah, it's about 8 or 9 years. Blake Snell posted 8 innings in game 1. But this time around, Yoshinobu Yamamoto did him one better. It was a 5-1 Dodgers win. He pitched 9 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts on 111 pitches. Wonderfully economical pitching for him. It was his first complete game in Major League Baseball. Coincidentally, a very well-timed one. This is also the Dodgers' first in the postseason since Jose Lima threw one in 2004, and the first by any Major League Baseball pitcher in the postseason since Justin Verlander back in 2017. That kind of performance allows the Dodgers to once again avoid exposing the biggest weakness of any team in the postseason, and that's the bullpen. He got all 27 outs despite allowing a leadoff homer to Jackson Chourio in the first Brewers at-bat of the night. From there, he settled in and absolutely dominated. There were some.
Was there not a second home run? No.
No. Well, there was, but for the Dodgers, and that would be Teoscar Hernandez, former Blue Jays legend, hit his 4th home run in the postseason in the 2nd inning to tie the game. Andy Pages doubled in another run that inning to take the lead. Max Muncy added a home run for insurance in the 6th, and then Shohei Ohtani singled in another run in the 7th, and Tommy Edman singled in another run in the 8th. So now the Brewers have been pretty creative with their their pitching staff throughout the postseason, but the Dodgers have consistently made hard contact in both games of the series, running up pitch counts and being very defensive. Starting pitcher Freddie Peralta, the closest thing that Milwaukee has to a true ace, was supposed to be a retrieve, but the cracks kept showing, unfortunately. And at this point here, in much the same way that Seattle looked absolutely dominant over Toronto, the Dodgers are looking absolutely dominant over the Brewers. So we'll have to see where this goes. Going to be following everything with a lot of interest.
Well, it appears the Brewers have been built to play in the regular season, not in the playoffs. So this is a tough situation for them. They do have an opportunity, just like the Jays, tomorrow to come up and win. And it's only 2-1. The Jays win today. It's 2-1. That's all it is. They're just one game away from tying things and turning it into a best of 5. All right. Make that a best of 3. Let's talk about tennis when it comes to Canada. And let's hear about it, Aaron. Are Canadians doing well?
Yeah. So originally we were going to be starting with Gabriel Diallo. Unfortunately, he's out of the Almaty Open tennis tournament after losing 7-6, 6-7, 6-4 to James Duckworth in second round action earlier today. Duckworth overcame 22 aces from Diallo and did not face a break point in the match that lasted just over 2.5 hours. Duckworth is going to be going on to face third seed Flavio Cobolli of Italy in the quarterfinals. Also, Denis Shapovalov advanced to the quarterfinals of the Stockholm Open tennis tournament with a 6-2, 5-7, 6-1 win over Leo Borg earlier this afternoon as well. Shapovalov is the third seed in Stockholm, had 6 aces and won 83% of first serve points against Borg, who is actually the 22-year-old son of Bjorn Borg, for those of you who remember him. Borg earned a wildcard entry into the main draw of the ATP 250, but struggled to pick up wins on serve. He faced 18 break points in the match, but defended only 11 of them. So Shapovalov entered the tournament ranked 23rd in the world and made short work of his opponents in the third set. He won 5 straight games after both players opened with a hold.
Let's talk about George Russell in F1.
Now, this is, I think, what people would arguably call the biggest foregone conclusion in F1. Mercedes has announced that George Russell has officially signed a contract to race for the team next season. Russell's current contract expires at the end of the season, but after Max Verstappen reiterated that he was going to be returning to Red Bull and that none of his clauses were triggered ahead of the summer break, it was clear that Russell's near-term future was at Mercedes. This is coming shortly after Russell ran out a dominant win at Singapore. He got the pole and led all the way to the checker. He was unchallenged during the race. McLaren didn't have the pace to match either Russell or Verstappen, despite clinching the constructors' title by their 3rd and 4th place finishes. So a little bit of consistency there. We'll hope to be seeing future signings coming up.
Absolutely. Good news there. Now let's move over to the Canadian Football League and let's talk about the Riders.
So right on the tail of securing first place in the CFL and getting the Western Final at home, the Roughies have announced that Vice President of Football Ops and General Manager Jeremy O'Day and head coach Corey Mace have each signed 2-year contract extensions. Based on the performance over the past couple of years, this is not really a surprise. The good news is O'Day has a keen eye for Canadian talent. There's 17 of his draft selections currently on the Rough Rider roster, including Ajo, AJ Allen, Samuel Emilis, Keon Schaefer-Baker, and Ali Saad. Mace has been really good in guiding the Roughies. They're first place in fewest points allowed, fewest first downs allowed, fewest rushing yards allowed, time of possessions, interceptions with 21, and length of kickoff returns. So, under his stewardship, they've done really well for themselves. Glad to see that Saskatchewan's doing the smart thing and locking them up for the next couple of years.
Absolutely. Let's go to the National Hockey League, and let's start with the Habs and Caulfield scores.
He scored his second goal of the game at 3:25 of overtime to give the Habs a 5-4 win over the Kraken on Tuesday night. Ivan Demidov tied the game with less than 3 minutes left in the third period, forcing the overtime. Newhook and Kirby Dach also scored for Montreal, and Montembeault made 18 saves. This is now their third win in a 4-game homestand, so that's good. This is Caulfield's fourth straight Canadiens home opener goal. Newhook scored his first goal of the season in his 300th career NHL game. And the goal was assisted by defenseman Alexandre Carrier, who's also playing in his 300th game. Jaden Schwartz, Yanni Neiman, Jamie Alexiak, and Jared McCann scored for the Kraken, who dropped their first game of the season in the opener of a 6-game trip, while Joey Decord stopped 17 shots.
Absolutely. Let's go over to the Sens, and let's talk about their 23-year-old defenseman they put on waivers.
So, because of Tyler Kleven's return on Monday afternoon, the Sens unfortunately found themselves in the unfortunate position of carrying too many defensemen. They were carrying 8, which is one more than they usually like to. They placed Donovan Sabrango on waivers as of Tuesday. He served as Kleven's direct replacement in the Senators' first 2 games down in Florida. But with Kleven now healthy, the Sens have decided to send Sabrango back to Belleville. His 2 games with Ottawa over the past week have now doubled his career games played total at the NHL level. He made his original NHL debut with the Sens back in January. Besides Jake Sanderson, Thomas Chabot, and Kleven, Sabrango is generally seen as the next man up on the left side of the organization's depth chart. But he may soon have some competition, mainly because they've signed Scott Harrington to a 2-year AHL deal down with the B-Sens. So there is that possibility for him as well.
Absolutely. They also, there's word now that it looks like Tkachuk is not going to be playing in the near future.
Yeah, Michael Andlauer said earlier today that Brady's having a second opinion to determine if surgery will be required for his injury. He appeared to injure his right arm and wrist on Monday when he was cross-checked into the boards by Roman Josi 5 minutes into the game. Travis Green told reporters that Tkachuk would be out a significant amount of time with what the team is calling an upper body injury. Now, he did stay in the game, but he didn't see the ice. He was more of a bench presence. This is one of those things where it's like, man, they got to call more of this stuff, like this chintzy Ricky ticky tacky stuff from behind. One of the Predators players actually also did it to Easton Cowan in the Maple Leafs game too. Almost tried to put him through the crossbar. So it's one of those things that the league has got to be more aware of. Otherwise, you're going to see more players dropping like flies.
That's not a good thing. That's for sure. What a time to get hiccups. Sorry, my computer just froze.
No, and that's fine. We're going to be looking at more in Morgan Barron's start with Winnipeg. Normally known as a bottom 6 grinder. He's opened the 25-26 season with 4 points in 3 games. This is actually one of the strongest starts of his NHL career. He's recorded 2 goals and 2 assists. He's one of the early bright spots. He was selected by the Rangers in the 6th round of the 2017 NHL draft. He played 3 seasons at Cornell. After signing his entry-level contract with the Rangers in 2020, he started play during the 2020-2021 season, but was traded to Winnipeg as part of the deals that sent forward Andrew Kopp to New York. He's been a consistent presence for them, but has never really had a major breakout season. And since coming up big, this looks to be really, really good for him, and the start he was basically looking for.
He's outscored all the Rangers.
Yeah, which is kind of embarrassing when you think about it.
Because the Rangers haven't scored at all.
No,
that's not good. Okay, let's go to the Flames, and they lose to Eichel and the Golden Knights.
Yeah, Jack Eichel had 2 for the Golden Knights in a 4-2 win on Tuesday. Caden Korshak also scored for the Golden Knights, and Tomas Hertl added an empty netter with 7 seconds left. Aiden Hill stopped 8 of 10 shots in the first period and didn't return for the second because of a lower body injury. Akira Schmid turned away all 19 shots he faced in relief. Michael Backlund and Blake Coleman scored for the Flames. Dustin Wolf made 26 saves in the loss.
Absolutely. The Flames, outside of that, though, they've started pretty strong, haven't they?
They have a tendency to start the first period really strong. But unfortunately, they seem to collapse with about 5 to 7 minutes left in the third period of each game. The Flames have lost the period in a third straight game. After a 4-3 shootout win over Edmonton open the regular season, the Flames have been outscored 9-1 and outshot 32-19 in third periods over the next 3 games. St. Louis beat them by scoring both goals late with a 4-2 win. The Canucks outscored the Flames 4-1 in the third period on a 5-1 win last week. And now this. I'm not sure if they're comfortable where they're at, but they've got to do something to address these third period collapses. I don't know if it's a matter of conditioning or what they've got going on, but yeah, it's not a good look.
Absolutely. The Oilers shut out the Rangers.
Yeah, this was a history-making win for the Edmonton Oilers, most notably because Trent Frederick scored, Stuart Skinner stopped all 30 shots he faced, and the Edmonton Oilers beat the New York Rangers 2-0 on Tuesday. This is the first team in NHL history to get shut out in each of their first 3 home games of a season. Their 180-minute goal drought at Madison Square Garden is the second longest, behind only the now defunct Pittsburgh Pirates, who managed 187 minutes and 19 seconds scoreless all the way back in 1928. So, this is one of those things that you don't ever want to see happen, especially not to a team that just 2 short years ago was the President's Cup winner. They find themselves in a really difficult position.
Chris Knobloch, the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, hit a milestone.
Yeah, with his victory over the New York Rangers, he now passes Dave Tippett for the 5th most wins in franchise history. That's his 96th career NHL win, to 5th place on the Oilers' all-time wins list. In just 154 games at the helm, he's won 96. Their record is 96, 47, and 11. And that's a winning percentage that puts him amongst the top in the NHL, particularly for the length of time he's been an NHL head coach.
Snuggerud. I love saying that name. Snuggerud. He seems more like a cartoon character, not a hockey player. Snuggerud.
Especially with a first name like Jimmy, he definitely sounds like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
He scored twice. Braden Shen contributed a goal and an assist for the Blues, and Nick Bukestad buried his first of the season, and Jake Neighbors added an empty netter with 2:13 left. Bennington stopped 29 of the 31 shots he faced, as St. Louis has now won 2 in a row. Kiefer Sherwood scored both goals for Vancouver, including a shorthanded tally on a breakaway midway through the second period. Lankin had made his first start of the season and registered 30 saves for the Canucks, who are now 1-2-0, while the Blues are 2-1-0. So Vancouver managed to get scored on the penalty kill. This is the first goal against they've had on the penalty kill all season. It's tough. They got close, but they couldn't seem to catch up all the way.
Yeah. Well, the Leafs won a hockey game.
Finally, after beating Montreal 5-2 in the first game and then losing the next 2 games to Detroit, OEL and JT each had a goal and 2 assists as they won 7-4 over the Predators last night. Austin Matthews had 2 goals, including an empty netter, and Jake McCabe and Bobby McMahon also scored for Toronto. Caden Primo made 26 saves. Nylander had 2 assists and an empty netter, and Matthew Nyes finished with 3 assists. Nick Perbix had a goal and an assist, and Mike McCarron, Eric Howla, and Roman Josi scored for Nashville. Justus Annunen stopped 21 shots in a matchup of backup goaltenders. I was primarily concerned because while Caden has been awesome in the AHL, he's been terrible in the NHL, but proved himself to be serviceable as the goalie in the second half of back-to-back. Predators are going on to play the third game of a 4-game road trip at Montreal on Thursday, and the Leafs are going to be hosting the Rangers on Thursday in the third game of a 5-game homestand.
Absolutely. And William Nylander called out by the coach. Next game, he played a little better.
Yeah. Now, even he has admitted, though, that he isn't quite up to speed with the NHL season, just over a week old. He assisted on 2 goals, including the go-ahead effort from Don Tavares before adding an empty netter as Toronto downed the Nashville Predators 7-4 to get back on track. I'm slightly concerned, mainly because it's already a week into the season. He should already be dialed in. That's what preseason and training camps are for. And if you got to call him out to get him motivated this early in the season, man,
Aaron, we've been down this road. I reestablished him as a player that we could respect and trust, that his team could respect and trust. That's after he was a player that I found the necessity, and it's not important that I call him out. That doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But what it does do is we're allowed to have an opinion. And I hope I've never been personal. But unfortunately, when he's observably ineffective or disengaged or appears to not be interested, in other words, he's disinterested, that's when I get a little nervous when it comes to players, because he's one of the highest paid players on the team. And he should be interested at the very least. Being successful. Let's look at Austin Matthews. I defined him as being somebody because of the absence of that other guy that went bye-bye. I said, and I believe, that he has to be more proactive in getting scoring chances, as opposed to being the trigger man. He has to create offensive chances. I believe we saw a perfect example of what we need from Matthews. And by we, I mean we as people who are commenting about him. I need to see him be a creator in offense. And he did that with Nyes last night with that goal. It was a beautiful goal that they both teamed up in and put in the net, an easy tap in, right? So that's what we expect. That's the kind of play we expect from Nylander, because in my opinion, Nylander is better suited to make those kind of plays than Matthews, in my opinion, right? Mm-hmm. And he should be doing stuff like that. And when he doesn't, one wonders. And the back checking part is just the period at the end of the sentence. That's when you know how his game is totally disengaged, disinterested by the way he back checks. So I don't know how you get into somebody's mind who can fall into that situation, because that really means you're not self-awareness is obviously a problem for him, because how can you be skating down the ice and watching what's going on and you're slowing down, you're going, oh, I'm so tired, and you're not aware of that? You're not aware of that's what you're doing. You're just doing, so he's doing it knowing that he's doing that and he's okay with it. I don't know. I'm just, when he gets into those moments, my head wants to blow up. I mean, just.
No, and I completely understand that. I'm not sure what it is that actually motivates this guy anymore. There are times where he looks like a world beater, and then there's other times where it's just like, I don't even know what you're doing, dude.
Well, all I can say is my criticism comes from a place. I think the best way for me to explain it is that if I was lucky enough to be in his position, I would revel in the opportunity.
Oh, 100%.
I would be so happy to be able to just be out there and play the best I can. Maybe that's easy for me to say, but that's how I judge him, right or wrong. That's how I judge him. I'm going, why would you do that? I mean, I would love to be in the position you're in, and I don't think I would put up with myself doing that. That's all. And that's why, that's why sometimes the criticism towards a Marner or a Nylander, that's the root of it, I think. Everybody inside thinks they're a superstar, and they think they know exactly. I think I know exactly how I would behave if I was on the ice, but I'm not on the ice. So it's up to these guys to figure it out. It's up to the coach to motivate him, which we think he tried to do and maybe was successful at. Last year the thing was, as you remember, Aaron, the coach was putting him out there a lot. He was giving him lots of ice time. Remember, he was doing that because he's saying, "Come on, here's your challenge. Go out there, go do whatever." Right?
Yep.
And I don't know if the two of them forgot about that and didn't go back to that plan. I don't know. Like you, I'm trying to figure out how Nylander gets to the position where it looks like he doesn't care. Yeah, and I want to underline it. Looks like he doesn't care.
Yeah, it's always been the most interesting thing for me is to try to get inside his head and figure out exactly what's going on up there, because it's a mystery to me most days. I don't get it.
Well, I can say one thing. He's a guy who doesn't panic. Like I guess the one way to explain it, I think if I was inside his head, he's strictly talented. I think all I'd hear is la 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 la, because he doesn't care about what's going on around the world. He just doesn't. He's in his own little space. He's in his own little space. And sometimes the coach, we learned that lesson early this season, has to get into that space and give it a little shake. Let's see how long it lasts, Aaron. That's all I can say. If you're a Leaf fan, you're hoping it lasts a few weeks at least. It's not something that the coach has to do on a regular basis.
Well, we'll find out soon enough.
Absolutely. Like tonight. No, tomorrow night. Sorry.
Exactly.
Tomorrow night. All right. Thanks, Aaron. He's Aaron William Freeland. I'm Candid Franks Tanishi. This has been Maple Leaf Talk, where we talk about everything Canadian. Teams, players, organizations, and our athletes that are in the world showing us proud. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.